Hi there. Welcome to the FC Cymru, latest live from Colwyn Bay. The FC Cymru team spent yesterday at Kinmel Bay, but today we're chatting Wales. We've got two very special guests coming up. More to come on all of that. But Gabs, yeah, we've got a bit of a special one today.
Yeah, so you've got some special guests lined up for you today. We're going to be discussing all things Cymru, and we're going to chew over yesterday's game, of course.
Yeah, we certainly are. We have got the Cymru legend, former captain Kevin Ratcliffe taking your questions. And we've also got a behind-the-scenes legend in Cled Ashford joining us. Listen, if you're looking for any inside info on the youngsters coming into the team, Cled is the man to be doing that. And also, just as a slight more serious note, we will be dedicating today's show to Christian Eriksen and his family. Horrible scenes yesterday in the Denmark game, but just so glad that he's stable in hospital and talking, and a good end to what was a horrible moment. But yeah, so this is to Christian Eriksen. But now let's introduce the guys that we're going to be speaking to today. Actually, just before we do that, so we were talking about Kinmel Bay. I can just see over the corner of my shoulder. Have you seen the Hope United shirt there? That was the Hope United. It was a cracking Hope United event, wasn't it, Gabs? And we had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it was such a fun day, and it was so lovely to see all the community come together to support Wales in the Euros, to kick it all off.
Not very good for Rachel, our editor, who is at the moment sat with cold towels on her legs because she burnt the back of her legs, bless her. So poor old, taking a little bit of the sun myself. Gabs has got away with it.
I was fine, yeah. I don't know how that happened.
Fantastic. Well, listen, without further ado, let's introduce our two guests in the blue corner, because he's always in the blue corner, except when he was obviously playing for Wales. But Kevin Ratcliffe, 59 caps for Wales, 2 league championship winners' medals, an FA Cup and a Cup Winners' Cup medal, Kev. Was there anything else I missed on there?
Not really. I think you're there. I think, yeah, that's about it, really. I think
a couple of charity shields.
I think Cardiff, we won the, I think it was 4 charity shields, and one Welsh Cup with Cardiff, and obviously I think it was 3rd division then, wasn't it? Championship with Cardiff. So yeah, you missed a couple out. I'll forgive you. I thought Cardiff fans won.
Yeah, no, you got the big ones in. Brilliant stuff. And our other guest then is Cled Ashwin, an absolute legend behind the scenes for Wales. Now, come on, Cled, don't be modest now. Don't be modest. In fact, I think Luke is going to play in a little bit about Cled so we can see just how much of a man behind the scenes you've been for so many years with Flintshire Schools and the Wales and the FAW, and some absolute legends of the game that you've worked with, Cled, and helped bring through. Yeah, so just loading up here. There we go.
Yeah, that was a great team. That was, of course, the legendary Gary Speed in the middle there with the shield.
I was going to say, can anyone spot him? Where is he? He's right there with the shield, isn't he?
Yeah, and funny enough, one of the players there now is the manager of the Flintshire team now, that Kev, of course, used to play for under Ron Bishop. So there's continuity there.
Yeah, fantastic. And this is you in your role with the FAW, and used to look after all the kids when they were coming through at the under-16s level. Didn't love it, of course.
Great times. As Kev has had such a wonderful career in football, I've been blessed. I mean, I was an absolutely rubbish footballer, but I've been blessed with been working with some great kids and young people. So I feel very blessed in that.
Yeah,
and guys, it's so great to have you.
When did you come in then, Claire? Did you come in after Ron Bishop?
I came to Ron Bishop in '74. You left, I think, in '72 or '71, was it? Because you play. I've got photographs.
Yeah. I was there at '71. Yeah.
They are. Well, I joined in '74 on leaving college, and then I've been there ever since. So I think this is my 47th year. I think, is it now?
Yeah.
And last year now.
What was it called then, Gled? Because obviously it was D-side primary schools when I played.
D-side primary schools until 1989, and then we changed it to Flintshire then, because obviously the whole of Flintshire was involved, whereas Ron, bless his heart, was.
Well, Lawrence won't know this, but if you think that myself, Gary Speed, Ian Rush, and Michael Owen all play for Deeside Primary Schools,
And
Barry Horn as well, we've all got a few things in common. We've all played for Everton, our clubs that we supported as kids. We've all played for Wales 50 times, and we've also all captained. Sorry, we've played for respective countries, and we've all captained our country.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible achievement from a small area as well.
Glowing for England, obviously.
Yeah. Kevin's quite right. I mean, Ron Bishop, you know, he was such an iconic figure. And these players that he brought through, you wouldn't believe that so many players came from such a small place. And of course, even to today in the first team, there's always a Flintshire player. You know, Wayne Hennessy came to live, in fact, from Anglesey to Flintshire when he was younger. And of course, you got Danny Ward, who played for the same team that Kevin played for Flintshire Primary Schools. So it's got a great history. And going back to Kevin's time, you know, there were such good players there in those days in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, no, wonderful stuff. Well, listen, if anybody is from the Flintshire area, Deeside, then ping your comments in as well and say hello to the guys, the footballing hotbed of sort of northeast Wales. And yeah, there we go. Chip's already in. Top player, Kev. Top, great captain as well. Listen, we're going to get into the games for tomorrow from yesterday, and of course, we're going to be talking about Kieffer more in a second. But Juxie, you're going to be on the comments, right?
Yes,
So I'm assuming that people have already got stuck in about Kieffer Moore and amazing.
There are tons of comments on here for Kieffer Moore.
Just flying in, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everybody's bandaged hero.
Yes. Let's get some more in. Oh. Yeah, there's plenty of love for Kieffer Moore on here.
Yeah. So he was. Yeah. So he was. You were saying there, Kev. He was our only threat.
Well, I would say Dan James and him were our only threat to Switzerland. I mean, I thought for 75 minutes we were nowhere near, you know, to what we know we can do. And still then, I don't think we were anywhere near. I think that's the poorest I've seen us play for quite a number of years, to be fair. I don't know if it was nerves or what, but you could pick bones out of it all. You know, the two centre-backs never really played together. Got caught out of position, wrong side of the striker at times. Midfield, the gel, no, really. We never got Aaron Ramsey into the game. I believe Aaron never got into the game because we never played our usual passing game. We were just going too long all the time. You know, Danny Ward was aiming for Kieffer Moore, but for me, Kieffer was playing too central. As a defender, it's easy to mark. He really needed to pull off on one of them other centre backs, the three that were playing, and really come from an angle. He was coming off too straight. There was nobody going past him. So, you know, you're not a threat. The only time he was a threat was when crosses were coming into the box, and that was by Dan James, who I thought had an exceptional game. Very surprised that he came off when he was a threat. So that can only be a tiredness, really, that maybe the coaching staff have seen, or the fitness guys have seen. I don't know, but for me, I thought we could have made at least 3 substitutions before we made the first one. So I thought we were a little bit lacklustre, and we needed a bit more energy in the side. And we seemed to get that going after, like I say, 75 minutes. You know, we scored the goal. I thought just before we scored the goal, we just showed signs that we're getting into the game. And then when we got the goal, all of a sudden, there was an aura about us again. There was that extra confidence. People were looking for the ball. You know, the options on the ball were poor, I must admit. I thought their game plan was really, really good. They squoze up, and we didn't. We never, as a back four, we were very, very deep, and they exploited that. And I think they showed that more physicalness than what we had. You know, in the midfield area, you know, the lad that scored was tremendous, very, very strong. You know, you've seen the lads that were coming on for Switzerland, very, very strong, running with the ball, knocking our players off the ball. we most probably a tournament too soon for a lot of these lads, and a lot of the others is maybe a tournament too far. So we're stuck in that between, and it's going to be difficult to get through this group now. I can't see Turkey playing as poor as they did against Italy. I can't really see them playing with just the one up front. I think they'll be more adventurous because they'll need to win.
They're under pressure, though, Kev. Yeah,
they're under pressure.
Yeah,
but they're playing more or less at home, aren't they, in Azerbaijan? So there'll be about 6,000 of their fans there, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But listen, we will come on to a little bit more in depth on the performance in a minute. Cled, you just about made it for kickoff, didn't you? Because we were understanding you were on a bit of a journey. We just got something for you to watch a second, because I think this will help everyone understand the pressure that you were under yesterday, which was massive.
That is so, honestly, Kev and I were talking earlier on, and he was taking the mick because I live in the woolly backside of North Wales, and it's just unbelievable, because I was staying in this pub hotel in Durham, and as it happened, as I was having a meal last night, I found out that one of my ex-pupils was the head chef there, which was unbelievable. Out of all the pubs in Northumberland and that area, he's the head chef there. So I did have a free glass of wine off him. Fair play to him. It was very good. But then we gave ourselves plenty of time to come home. And then all that happened. I could have cried. My wife was trying to calm me down. And it was just getting later and later. And at one time, when the cows came out in the field, I thought, that's it. I'm going to miss the blooming game. And the farmer was dodo. I said, look, I want to go and watch the game. Oh, they'll take their time, lad. They won't be long. Oh, God. But I did get there, and we had a great time. And those friends that we were with, that's 5 years ago, we were obviously in Bordeaux, and the four of us had a magnificent time. And I was supposed to be.
It was easier to get to Bordeaux, wasn't it?
But I was supposed to be in Baku yesterday, but unfortunately things didn't work out. And again, supposed to be in Italy, and can't go there either, really. But never mind. But going back to what Kev said, Kev's got that insight because he's an ex-professional and can see things that perhaps somebody like me can't. But there was certainly a nervousness there. But I thought some of them played very. I mean, I'm a big Joe Morrell fan. And I thought for a young lad, I thought he did ever so well. And of course, the system had changed slightly with having that four. I think there's better to come, but they're not a bad side, Switzerland, I don't think. I think they're quite a good side. And as Kev said, they're strong. The midfielder, God, he was a monster. So to be fair, I think that the point was a hell of a good point in the end, because I think we'll play a lot better next game.
Are we almost bigging us? Switzerland have been a top 10 nation for a good few years now. I think they've qualified for 8 out of the last 9 major tournaments. So then, anyone thought that we were going to just go and roll them over was probably kind of barking at the wrong tree. So so decent. But again, Gabs, there's probably those Kieffer more comments coming in. Have you
yes,
a few there for
I've got
for us?
some here. Let me just find this one. More for Ballon d'Or.
Yes, there we go. Dan's on it. The Cardiff fans are absolutely loving it, aren't they?
There's so many comments on here. There's a lot of love, obviously, for Danny Ward as well. Again, more.
We have
some respect for Kieffer's rocket header yesterday.
We can have lots of respect for it. It was absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. Listen, Kev, he's come up the hard way, hasn't he? He's come up through the ranks, from non-league football, and to do it on the biggest stage of all. I mean, what would that mean to him as a player, do you reckon?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, like you said, Lawrence, it's a fantastic achievement what he's done, where he's come from in such a short space of time, really. When you think about him, signing for Wigan, getting his cap, and then getting a transfer move to Cardiff City. And he's improved. That's the one thing I've seen him improve. I didn't think he had one of his better games, I must admit, yesterday, but that could be said for the most of the 11. I thought Danny Ward was excellent, and Dan James, and Kieffer Moore did what he had to do: scored a goal, be involved. He had another chance, which was a save by the keeper. He's a threat. He's a little bit of a throwback, but he's got that little bit of a touch about him as well. He's got something about him a little bit different than just a big lump up front. It's that one. I think we have played well when we have played with a false number 9, I must admit, but I still think you need a pivotal number 9 to work off from. The problem we've got is the players adapting to that. The players around him. We're all of a sudden now playing games where, how can I say, we've been with that Aaron Ramsey, and then all of a sudden Aaron Ramsey's thrown back in the mix. And what do we do? Now, I believe Aaron Ramsey's got to play because he's for me, our best player. And we need to get him involved in the game as much as possible. We've seen that he can't play the number or the false number 9 role against Albania of all teams. There was nothing there. He was dropping that deep. He was ending up on his own 18-yard box, picking the ball up. And Aaron's one of these players that wants to get involved all the time. He can't sort of be patient and wait. And when he does sort of get it after not receiving the ball, he always tries something a little bit too hard, trying to sort of have an influence on the game. Sometimes you just got to make that 5-yard pass and move again. And that's something I think that Harry Wilson does very, very well. He can not see the ball for quite a while, and then all of a sudden when he does get it, he'll sometimes just do the easiest thing in the world, just make a 5-yard pass and then move again. Adam doesn't do that sometimes. He wants to take that more responsibility and trying to be a little bit more creative. And I think that's where he's going to be a little bit more patient. But it does throw something into the mix now that we've got Aaron fit. And how do we adjust around that? Which system do we go with? Do we go with 3 centre-backs? Do we do with 4 at the back? I think we should have changed it yesterday. I think we should have gone to a 3 at the back after at half time. Just like when we were playing 3 at the back against Albania, we changed it at half time to go 4 because that suited us against the team that we were playing. It was always going to be a problem down our right-hand side because Rodriguez is a good player. And I think Connor Roberts was over-covering. And if he's over-covering, you've got to ask Gareth Bale to drop back in. And Gareth Bale's not going to do that. He never has done it and never will do it. He hasn't got a responsible brain in his head to actually help you out defending unless it's for a set piece. So you're left exposed down that side. So all of a sudden, the best part of Connor Roberts' game is getting forward and getting in behind defenders, getting crosses in the box, getting at the back post. And he wasn't allowed to do that because he was scared that if he did go forward, that there was no cover that side because you're only playing with 2 centre-backs and not 3. So there's all these things you've got to take into consideration. And how does it work? How are we going to get that fixed to get us a result against Turkey?
I think Kieffer Moore works hard off the ball as well. And again, we were discussing this earlier on. He works so hard off the ball, gets into positions. Sometimes he is very central, and against them, they weren't bad in that bit of the back. But he does off the ball. He works very, very hard, I think. But it takes time to work as a team. You need, as you say, Ramsey and him to work more together, to have more game time together. And I think it will click. But it's very hard having a striker to work off a striker if you're not quite sure where he's going to go, what he's going to do. And to be fair to Kieffer, he's come in late in his career, really, late developer. And so he hasn't gone through the system with these lads. But I think he's done extremely well, and as Kev said, he scored a goal. You can't ask for more than that. Yeah. And I have to say, the ball that came in was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he works too hard sometimes as
Yeah,
a striker, a lone
yeah,
striker. Works
yeah.
too hard. He's got to conserve his energy and
Yeah,
work,
true.
between 18-yard box.
Yeah.
The width of the 18-yard box. Don't go wider than that.
But
But
he's
sometimes you
desperate to
see, like
play,
you
isn't he?
said,
He's desperate to be involved.
well, that's the thing. He wants to impress.
Yeah.
But he's got to really conserve his energy, especially when he's playing the full 90 minutes. That you want him a little bit more composed than in front of goal. But he's got. Hey, it's another goal for him. He's fantastic. Great movement, by the way. I've not seen that set piece before. I don't know if it was one of them that was off the cuff. But we weren't having any success throwing balls in the box from corners, and then all of a sudden we played a short corner, and then we play it short again, and a great delivery.
Oh
by Joe Morrell.
Yeah,
and
well, Cled's been waxing lyrical about this. He's very happy, man. We spoke to Joe Morrell's family on Tuesday. I think if you go back on the FAW pages, find out the FC Cymru episode from Tuesday, you'll see Joe's mum and dad being interviewed outside Chepstow Castle, and you're absolutely ecstatic for him, aren't you, Cled?
Oh yes, I mean he's such. Kev will tell you, he has worked in most probably the hardest profession of all. It's a cutthroat profession, and you need so much to be able to succeed in football. I keep telling the young lads this. They always think, every one of them, fair play to them, think they're going to make a Premiership player and make a fantastic living out of it. It's hard work, and people like Kev have proved that. But they've done it. They've gone through it. And people like Joe Morrell have had quite a difficult time. I think of Will Vokes at Cardiff and people like this. You've got Matty, who's at Doncaster. It's hard graft. And Joe Morrell's come through that. And I think his best games, without a shadow of a doubt, have been for Wales. And he's proved himself to be a boy of big potential. And to come in from the level he's playing, and as we said earlier on, he's not even playing for Luton. So my God, they must have a team. Because he is such a good player. Potentially, again, he can be another Joe Allen. He is such a good player. But he didn't have his best game, perhaps. But I think the pressure in that midfield yesterday was awesome. And then to get that ball and deliver it so quickly. And as Kev said, what a great run from Moore. So, he was an assist there. So I was quite happy.
I think the thing is with him, Laura, he surprised me, I must admit. His standards that he set himself for international football. I keep throwing his name about to clubs because he's not getting a game at Luton, and I just can't believe that he's not playing on a regular basis for any team. Never mind just Luton. He just surprises me every time. In fact, I would say on his performances, he's been our most consistent player over the last sort of 10 games. I don't know how many caps he's got now, but he's really, really, for me, one of the first picks. And then it's people around him. I know Joe played yesterday, and it looks like he's getting back to what he was. But for me, Joe Morrell I've seen something in him that I've not really seen, that I really thought that he had. He's a better passer of the ball than I thought he was. He retains possession more than I thought he did. He doesn't give the ball away a great deal. He will get caught out. There's no doubt about it, because that position you're playing in centre midfield, you will get caught out, and especially if you're not playing week in, week out. You might just feel a little bit too overconfident. You just cannot feel overconfident in that position. But I've really, really been impressed with him. I must admit, he's a big, big sort of plus for us, and a find as well. An absolute gem of a find. And the trust that we've put in him, I think he's repaid us back.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the Welsh way that we talk about, Cled, isn't it? When we talk to those coaches, they say about getting those extra games in at youth. Joe's played from under 14s, 16s, 17s, 19s, 21s. He's come right the way through that system. So when he does step into the first team, he's ready to go. What we need now is for him to get some proper game time in the Championship, isn't it? I think, Gabs, over your shoulder is a man that we want to be talking about as well. That's right.
Yes,
that's right. Danny Ward, absolutely Chip has taken the words out of my mouth. Absolutely exceptional yesterday. What have we got coming in the comments, Gab?
There's a lot of love for Danny Ward on here. There's so many comments. Let me just find the one.
Danny the Fish will be okay when the front line wakes up. Fantastic.
Lola for Dan James, Danny Ward and Ben Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for you guys, obviously Danny
disagree with that.
Couldn't disagree with it.
No,
no,
not at all. I think he made 3 or 4 saves that were goal bound, no doubt about it. And I think they were like reactive saves as well. You know, they weren't just sort of he's going to shoot or whatever. It was a fair show. The one with his feet was exceptional. But you know, he did have a good game. You know what? Is one of them sort of questions that you asked before the game when you see the team sheet. He was one of them that maybe I wouldn't have started. I would have gone with Wayne Hennessy. I think Cled would have gone with Wayne Hennessy. And, you know, it's proved to have been the right choice. You know, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So
surprised you, though.
Sorry, so chuffed for him because Danny's waited a while for that. And as Kevin quite rightly said, you know, to come on. Mind you, he did the same when we were in Bordeaux last year. You know, we heard, was it minutes before the kickoff or an hour? And I thought, oh my God, what pressure for the lad to come on in that situation. And he did ever so well. But I've got dual loyalties because I've known Wayne since he was a very young lad, and I'm very, very fond of Wayne. Think the world of him, and he's been a fantastic goalkeeper for Wales. He gives 100% every time, and he's had a hard season at his club. I've got my own thoughts about that, but I think it's wrong. But like Kevin, I thought because of his experience and his kicking and his ability to read the game, he might have started. But fair play to Wardy, he had a great game, and again, ex-player, ex-Deeside player like Kevin was. So great for us.
Yeah, there's a theme emerging, isn't there, Dukesy? There's a theme of music emerging here. It's Flintshire taking us all the way.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
We've had some great. We've got a great 11.
Yeah,
think about it, the Flintshire side. You know, you can go back to the Mike England. I think Mike England was Flintshire, wasn't he? He was Fun and Grew.
Yeah.
You could actually say, I think, was it Ron Davis?
Yeah, Ron. Yeah,
Ron Davis from Holwell.
From Brentford.
Oh, what was it? What was the lad from Everton? Striker, played for Stoke and Blackburn as well. I think you'd know, Cled. You most probably taught him. He was captain of Everton. Oh God, he was a fantastic player.
There was Hennessy. He was from Flintshire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I can't think. Hey, you've got me going now.
Yeah, that's one we're going to have to think of. Yeah. So is Ward now number 1 in your view, guys? Is that where we're at? Because
I think he's got to start.
Such a legend.
Yeah.
I think he'll start.
Yeah, I think so.
He'll start.
I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean that disrespectfully to Wayne, but because of my heart with Wayne, I have a suspicion that it is going to be yes.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't him yesterday, we would have been a few goals down. There's a comment here, we would have lost 5-1, and probably would have been that, to be honest.
Could have been.
Yeah, it could have been.
Wonderful to see. And again, it's another player that's maybe not getting those minutes in at his club side, but then sort of upping his game for Wales. I don't know what it is. What is it they do behind the scenes, Cled, that makes them step up like that for Wales?
I've lost the picture at the moment, but I hope you can still hear me. Can you?
Yes, we can, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay. I don't know really. When you think back to Kevin's time, Deeside primary schools and in that period of time were the best primary schools association in Britain because they used to go and play the biggest teams around and play to a great level. And of course, in those days, there was nothing else really. There were no academies and so on. So they tended to play for their county and then went on to the clubs that they played for. And then since we've had Flintshire the same, it's a very, very high level of football that they have at schools association sides. But of course, now they have the opportunity to go to academies. And we have a lot of these players coming through at Wrexham. But unfortunately, due to our circumstances, we lose them. And we were talking earlier on, Kev and I, how many players have come through from the youth team to the Wrexham first team. Well, unfortunately, we lose them along the way when they're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and they go to other clubs, and then they play for the first teams at these other clubs. So we lose out slightly. But it is a hotbed of football in this area. It really is. And it continues to be that now.
Yeah, no, it really, really does. Really does. And great to see as well. Great to see, guys. So listen, obviously we've got coming up for on Wednesday, absolutely huge game against Turkey now. They're under pressure, having lost 3-0. Gabs, what do you think? Do you think they'll be feeling the pressure a little bit?
Yes, I think there'll definitely be pressure on them. And I think looking at their form against Italy, obviously it wasn't the best. So I think Wales will scrape a win, I think. I think it will be a close game.
Fair enough, fair enough. Kev, do we change it up? I've got a little controversial one for me. I think we don't go with the 9 against Turkey, because the movement of Italy just absolutely took them to pieces. Maybe we need to go. Maybe we need to go with that false 9.
What, with the false 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you go with as a false 9? Or would you go with Harry Wilson?
I would go with Wilson. I think he plays that better than anybody else in the Wales team.
It could be. Yeah, I agree with you there. Although I think David Brooks has done it well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult one for the way that we go. And by the way, that player before in the last conversation was Roy Vernon. So I don't know if you remember him, Laura. You would, Cled. You'd actually have taught him.
Oh no! Don't you be like that. No, I didn't. But that was before my time.
But no, that's a good one, Laura. I actually think that we've got that many options because we look so uneasy. First time really I've actually Roden. He's got to have somebody solid against him. To get him through the bad times. The times he has, and
I've lost you now. I think.
Yeah, I think Kev's internet's just giving us a little bit of a wobble there.
I think.
Yeah. Dramatically, sometimes that happens, Claire. The internet just the Wi-Fi gods are against us, and they just shut down Kev. But hopefully we'll get him back on in a second. But how are you feeling about? There's a confidence, I think, in the comments.
There's a lot of positivity. A lot of positivity that Wales are going to win, which is good. It's good to see. Yeah.
Cled, obviously we just want them in there, don't we? Firing in. Putting in a performance which kind of, which I guess that they are capable of, and we want the lads doing themselves justice, and that's what we ask. We really want to see on Wednesday. We can't ask any more than that.
No, and I think you were talking. As I say, I can hear you, but can you see me?
Yes, you can, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
My screen's blank at the moment. The one thing I would say is that we've got players that can come in and do well. Kevin was talking about Joe Morrell's passing ability, but believe it or not, we've got 2 other players. They're not perhaps going to start any game, but they could come on and make a difference, and that is Matty. Matty Smith is playing out of his skin, and his delivery and the service he gives is superb, and Dylan Levitt the same. But obviously, to bring them on, you've got to be in a position where you can afford, inverted commas, to have them. You've got to have 2 people with them that can, use their physical strength to make sure that they've got room to give the ball. But whether he's going to go for the back 4 again, I'm not quite sure, because I do like to see them playing with the false 9, and I think Harry Wilson does that really well. But you can't play, in my book, you can't play without Kieffer Moore at the moment.
That was a toss-up. Cled, I was all over the place with it. I was like, it's got to be more. It's got to be in. I want Wilson to play. I'll be honest with you. It was I could barely sleep a wink last night, Cled. I don't know what Rob Page is going through. He must be going through hell out there.
You know, we haven't mentioned him yet, and to be fair, I think he's done a remarkable job. You know, as you know, I was lucky enough to work with most probably the best coach I've ever worked with, Oshan Roberts, and he had this philosophy when we disagreed on many things, Oshan and I, but my respect for him as a coach is second to none. What he always said was, "We will wait for these lads." You know, some of the lads were physically much smaller. But he said, we'll wait for these lads because they will come through. And there are still one or two lads who are playing today that are not in the squad, but they're just waiting to come in. And he was right. You'd got to wait for them. And these are the same. These lads, I think, have played 12 months, 2 years, perhaps sooner than I ever thought. We always called them the 99s. That's when they were born. And then you had the 97s, you know, the Morrells and the Jameses and so on. And there are other lads behind the scene, you know, Liam Cullen at Swansea and Cooper at Swansea, people like this. They're good players. So the future looks very, very bright. But of course, for this tournament, we have to use the experience of the players we've got. You have to. I think Nico Williams could come in and play very, very well. You know, and I'm a big Davis fan. I think he's a good player. And that partnership that he's got between Roden and Metham, he must like that. So Pagey must really like the partnership. I think it's more of the partnership than the individuality that he likes about that pairing. So he may carry on with that, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just great to have so many options as well. You know, these young lads are coming through, and just having their options there to be able to sort of change it up is fantastic for us as a footballing nation.
Yeah. And Switzerland, you know, were a good side. I remember these lads have played them when they were under 16s, and they're a very, very strong side. And when you look at the individuals, there were some good performances from their individuals. But Kevin's quite right. Turkey won't play as badly as that again.
No.
So it's going to be a harder game than we think. And then I'm going to be controversial here. I think we can beat Italy.
I think so too. I agree. I think so.
Hang on a sec. Whoa.
I think we have the ability.
Claire. No, come on.
No, I honestly think, you know, you look at our past when we've gone up against the big guns. Yeah. We have done well. I think we're very underrated, and I think we would have the ability. We certainly wouldn't give them as much room as Turkey gave them. We've got to be in their faces. We've got to be in there. We've got to niggle them a bit. We've got to wind them up a bit. Italians don't like being wound up. You've got to be at them. But I think if the Welsh spirit is there and we get at them with controlled, and I mean controlled aggression, I think we could upset their game plan, and I think we could have them.
Okay. Controlled aggression. Kev, I don't know whether your internet was in at the time when Cled said we're going to beat Italy, but I'm just going to throw that to you. Thoughts on
look, I think in normal, yeah. Well, the problem is the heat. You know, to get in people's faces with this heat. I mean, you've seen that yesterday. We looked a lot more lethargic than we normally do. Energy levels were low, and the heat's got a major factor in that. You know, that can you go out there and play a high press? I think Italy's shown against Turkey that you could do if you do it in the right manner, the right way. Yeah, we've got the players to do it. We've definitely got the players. I'm a little bit worried that when we do it, that, you know, the likes of Gareth Bale's not switched on to do it properly, because I don't think that's in his game. I honestly don't think it is. It's for me, I think players on the park should be able to do two jobs when you haven't got the ball.
Yeah.
And for me, he can't do one. So for him to do two, there's no chance. If you've seen Dan James on the other side, very rarely does there become a problem down that side, because he knows how to work back. He knows how to protect his fullback. Gareth don't. And that's a big problem for us. Whoever plays down that side has got a hell of a responsibility that it's going to be exposed, because he's got no support in front of him to back him up when we are defending the ball. He doesn't, for me, doesn't know when to press the ball, when not to press the ball. He's always arriving there. He's never there. So I'd like to see that in his game a little bit more. Now, it may be that people are too afraid to tell him, because it's Gareth Bale. He's a European Champions League winners medal. But even good players need to be told what to do. It doesn't matter how good you are. You still need to be told. And I don't think he's being told what to do. But by the way that he's playing, that I don't know if he has got it in his game or not, because I haven't seen it in his game. But has he been told? That's the other thing. That's what I'd like to know. Has he been told how to press the ball, when to press the ball?
Yeah,
Is he being, people behind him? Are they talking to him, or is it because it's Gareth Bale that you're not telling him to do things? It doesn't matter who you are; you still need to be told.
Yeah, I think just watching him, but the effort that the boys went through as well. I wonder if we need to freshen it up a little bit in terms of personnel for Wednesday as well, because it was like you say, it was really, really hot out there.
Lance, here's one for you. Who's your best two wide players that we've got at this moment in time? Who's the best two wide players we've got?
On form right now, Bale and James.
Bale, have you been watching a different game than me?
Maybe, but I would have him in there because I think he has got. Well, for one thing, he's looking over Gabriella's shoulder, so he's got his eyes on me there, and I'm going, all right, Gareth, no problem. But I think he's. I disagree. I think his work rate was really strong yesterday. I felt like he was actually, certainly when you saw him in those last few minutes, and he was still trying to run the ball into the corner to get us up the pitch. I think he was giving everything.
What I'm on about, Lawrence, is when we haven't got the ball. When we haven't got the ball. So when we haven't got the ball, he's we're playing with 10 men.
I know. I see where Kevin's coming from on this because it is a difficult one. You've got this person with such outstanding skill that can change a game. And what you do really is when you're playing him, you know that you are going to miss out on a certain aspect of the game, which is when they've got the ball and we haven't. And it is a gamble. It is a gamble. If you wanted the work that you need, you could put Wilson one side and Dan James the other if you wanted, or Brooks, Wilson, and James. But you will lose something else, and it's a gamble, isn't it, for the manager? We've seen managers in the past do it. We've seen Gareth have bad games before. But suddenly, people turn again.
Cled, why? I'd love to know why we never ever tried him in a false number 9.
Well, do you know what I was going to say to you? Yeah. I would play him there. I would play him there. I really.
Well, we did, didn't we, against Ireland when we battered them 4-1? That was I think he was playing as a false 9 that day.
The only time we've actually played him and we battered somebody 4-1, he never plays there again.
Yeah. I would see that because I tell you what he would do. Not only could he turn a game there, but he's going to take 2, if not 3 players away from somebody else because they're going to be so worried about him. He's going to take people out of positions, and also in that role, I think you can. It's not quite as important what you do defensively. It is, but you know where I'm coming from. When they do get the ball and start attacking down the flanks, he's not going to be caught out so much. And as a 10. He can still defend, but it's not as imperative, I don't think, as it is wide.
Well, listen, chaps, let's because there's been quite a few predictions coming in on the messages, and there, Gabs, all about the Turkey game.
Yes.
And
2-0.
Go on, Kieran. Hope that everyone at Brimo had a great day yesterday, Kieran. There was a 1-0 from Pricey there, wasn't it, as well? Yes. Good stuff. I think there's a lot of confidence. Moore and Roden.
Yeah, there's so much confidence.
That sounds like 2 headers for me.
Yeah.
Moore and Roden. That's beating them in the set pieces. That all works for me. Fantastic. Oh, but listen, we just dropped out with Kev's internet again then, but Wales 2, Turkey 1. Chip.
Yeah.
I'll take that as well, mate. I'll take that as well. Cled, have you got your travel all organised and ready for Wednesday so that you are at the game? It's a 5 p.m. kickoff.
Yes, and it's hosted at the Ashford residence on Wednesday.
Is it?
No problem. So I will be from 1 o'clock getting all the bunting and the flags ready, and my wife will be doing a buffet, and I'll get the beer in, and I've got an extra in the garage. So yes,
right, hang on. Before you get to the extra beer, I want to know what's on Mrs. Ashford's buffet list, mate.
Oh, it'll be excellent. We'll have to make a journey to Marks and Spencer's in the morning, I think.
That sounds good.
Right, so it's all around Cleds on Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Mrs. Ashford's going to M&S in the morning, Kev. So it's all around to Cleds for the Turkey game.
If we can get there in time.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll have cleared the cows off the road so we can all make it. Chopper Charles has gone for a 3-0 win for Wales against Turkey. Happy days, Chopper. We would definitely go for that.
Yeah.
But just leaves you to say thank you so much for coming on this morning, guys. Great to hear your thoughts. Great to hear your points of view. Kev, there's absolutely no way we're dropping Bale. Absolutely no way. But top man, listen, I hope you both enjoy it. Where are you going to be watching it on Wednesday, Kev? Are you back on with the Beeb?
Yeah, I'm down at the BBC Studios watching it there, and obviously doing before the game, after the game, and half time.
Lovely stuff. Gabriella, you're going to be down in Aberystwyth, are you? Or are you back down in Cardiff by then?
I'll probably be back down in Port Talbot. So I will be watching it probably from home, I guess.
Yeah, wonderful
Looking
stuff.
forward to it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. As for FC Cymru, we will be travelling kind of down the coast over the next few days. So we're going to be at Aberystwyth town for the next game. So if you're around, do come and say hello. We're really looking forward to that one. And hopefully by then, poor old Rachel, our editor, who got a little bit burnt yesterday in Mel Bay football, will be back in the game for that one. Stay across FC Cymru tomorrow. We've got a show coming out in the evening, so it's around about 8 o'clock, 8:30. It'll be out on the FAW channels, and we'll show you everything that happened at Kim Bay. Absolutely wonderful event with BT and Hope United, and some rather snazzy shirts and some very, very excited kids. So come and make sure you join us for that. We're going to be, I think, in Llangefni with 10 of us as well. So we'll be finding more about their partnership with the FAW over the next few days. But listen, thanks so much for joining in. All the comments, everybody who's got stuck in this morning, thank you so much. We will see you again for another one of these, possibly on Tuesday. We'll warm up for the big game. But Cled, enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Kev's already done one. The Wi-Fi in the Ratcliffe household was not holding up, unfortunately. But we'll take it care, guys, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers now.
Thank you.
Take care.